Hello again, fellow virtual consultants. In this video, we're going to show you how to use Zapier filters effectively and efficiently to optimize your available tasks when automating your business workflows using Zapier. It's all part of our Zapier tutorial to help you learn how to automate your business to save time, energy, and money, and that of your virtual consulting business clients. So again, in this video we'll show you a number of real working examples of how to use Zapier filters effectively to optimize your tasks and the efficiency of your Zaps in Zapier. So let's get started. If you have not already seen episode 1 in our Zapier tutorial that explains what Zapier is and how you can sign up for Zapier and set up your account with Zapier, we would highly recommend that you view episode 1, How to Automate Your Business, Zapier tutorial episode 1, where we show you also how to create a Twitter to Discord Zap, and our other videos in our Zapier tutorial found in our Virtual Consulting YouTube channel. Firstly, let's look at how you add a filter action and the various features that are available in the filter action. So when you're in any kind of Zap and you want to filter the incoming data to proceed in your Zap, you can see one of the options for an action is a filter. So if I click on filter, I get a new action and it has several stages to it. Now, let's also look at the guide for a filter action, and you can see you can quickly and easily access the documentation, the help documentation for any action by clicking on the guide in the right hand side of the Zapier window, and then we can see what a filter can do. So you can see a filter is for adding conditions to a Zap, allows you to perform actions, gives you some examples. They have a tutorial that you can go through, and then again it walks you through step by step how to add a filter action to a Zap, and then there's several other links to additional resources for that particular action. So again, you can quickly and easily get the help documentation for any Zap by clicking the guide on the right hand side panel in Zap. So again, we're seeing that a filter will allow the Zap to continue only if data from your application meets the conditions defined in the Zap. And then they use an example of filtering out particular customers in their example. So we're going to show you a number of various real working examples of how to use filters to filter out the incoming data to proceed with your Zap to, again, make your Zaps and your business automation as effective and efficient as possible. So we can see the various components of the Zap that are mentioned in that guide. We choose our application. In this video, we're going to just use the filter by Zapier, which is the default type of filter. There are several other types of filters that we can see. So the first step, as you can see, is to set a variety of conditions. And again, in our working examples, we're going to show you several different examples of the filter setup using a variety of conditions. Then the next stages will be to do, first okay, in these first couple of working examples of how to use filters to effectively filter out incoming data to improve the efficiency of your overall Zaps. We're going to look at a couple of Zaps, working Zaps that filter out data coming in from updates from a Google Calendar event, which you can see the actual running of these Zaps in our other video called Automate Your Social Media Marketing with Zapier and Google Calendar, which you can find in our automation playlist or by searching on our YouTube channel. So again, these first couple examples you can actually see working, how they actually work in this previous video. But here we're going to show you in more detail how to set up how that filter is set up to again effectively filter out the incoming data that we're getting from that event. So you can see from the event we're getting an updated or a new event in Google Calendar, and in this case we only want to continue if the summary from that event So again, we want this filter to only continue if the summary field text contains the substring Premier. So you can see you can select any of the fields that are available in your input data. In this case, we're looking at the summary. We could choose the description, etc., the dates. We can show more options for any data field that's in your incoming data can be used as the input to your filter. You have a variety of selections for the condition that you're using on your filter. You can see, and we'll show you some examples that use a variety of these different conditions. In this case, we're using that the text contains this. We could also say the text does not contain this substring, or the text exactly matches this substring, etc. So again, you have a wide variety of different conditions, and I would highly recommend that you explore your available conditions and get familiar with what you have available in your filtering. And then again, you put the various value you want to filter on, either contains or not contains. You can also see you can chain these conditions together using Boolean operators, the logical operators, and or. So we can again create pretty complex filtering, and again we'll show you a couple real examples where we're chaining together multiple conditions within the same filter. Now in this particular case, if we look at our test trigger that we're using, and we know we're filtering on the word Premier, if it contains Premier in the summary, you can see this particular summary does not contain, for the test trigger data that I'm using, does not contain the word Premier. So if we go forward, we can also test this filter, and we can just say retest the filter, and it will tell us whether that filter would or would not continue. So you can again test the effectiveness of your conditions without proceeding any further with your filter by changing the trigger data and retesting your filter, again without actually continuing and running the filter. So again, another nice feature of Zapier, being able to test without actually publishing anything. So now we'll go ahead and we'll look at our next example. This second example, Zap, is also part of our video of social media marketing, automate your social media marketing with Google Calendar and Zapier. And in this case, we're using this in conjunction with the previous Zap, and you can see in this case we're using that the summary does not contain the word Premier. And by using these two Zaps in conjunction, using the filter action, it allows us to customize the further tasks to be specific to those that contain the word Premier versus those that do not contain the word Premier, and to customize our messages, our social media marketing messages appropriately, and also the efficient use of subsequent tasks, as the subsequent tasks will only execute in these particular Zaps. In the case of the first example, whether the summary does contain Premier, and in the second case, whether the summary does not contain Premier. So if we look at our test trigger data, we just pick a trigger that's available. We can see in this case it does not contain the word Premier. So if we want to go ahead and test our condition, again we can do this without having to risk sending messages out that we don't want. So again, we can retest our filter. We can see if our filtering conditions are working appropriately. And you can see since we saw the summary of that particular event update did not contain the word premiere, it is filtering properly and saying it would have continued. So it would then allow that event update, Google Calendar event update to continue, and we go on to the next task. Whereas the first Zap, again, if we were using this test data, would not have continued because that text, the summary, did not contain the word premiere. So again, this would be the only of those two Zaps that would continue to run, and it would send out the appropriate message in the condition that an event did not contain the word premiere. In the second example, again, you can see how we're using a Zapier filter to optimize the efficiency of subsequent tasks. In this case, we're filtering on the text from a tweet, and we're only continuing. In this case, we have a number of conditions, and we'll walk through each of those conditions in a moment. But again, in this case, you can see we're filtering out the incoming tweet to determine if we're going to continue with a series of actions. So again, we're saving a number of tasks by filtering out unwanted data coming in, rather than, again, sending unwanted messages to these various other applications. And you can see working examples of this particular filter in our previous video, in part called How to Automate Facebook Page Posts with Zapier. And again, you can find that video also in our automation playlist, or by searching for Facebook page posts on our Virtual Consulting 101 YouTube channel. So again, if we go back to that Zap, we can see in this case we're using a number of conditions chained together using an AND condition. So we're saying, okay, that if we're only going to continue with this particular Zap if the text does not contain the substring virtual consulting, if the text does not contain, so virtual consulting with a space, without a space, if it does not start with RT, meaning it's not a retweet, if it does not contain BBT retweet, so if it's not a retweet from our Beach Bum Trading Twitter account, and it does not end with retweet. So we have several different Zaps that process Twitter data and retweet them on a number of different social media and Twitter accounts, and we don't want to send redundant tweets out from those other accounts. So in this case, this is a Beach Bum Trading Twitter, and we only want it to continue to post to the LinkedIn page, the Facebook page for Beach Bum Trading, and stock twits if it is a tweet that's coming from Beach Bum Trading. We don't want to pick up tweets or retweets from our other accounts and also post them to the Beach Bum Trading social media. So again, we have all these filters which will only select tweets coming in from Beach Bum Trading that are unique. They're not retweets from the other accounts. And if we want to look at a test of this example, we can choose a test trigger. In this case, we can see it does not contain any of that. Okay, so it has Beach Bum Trading retweet at the end of that, so we would expect that to be filtered out. So let's verify that that works. So we'll retest our filter, and again, we would expect it to not continue because we saw at the end of the text it contains the substring BBT space RT. So again, this shows how our filter would filter out unwanted tweets, so we wouldn't continue, we wouldn't exhaust further tasks in our Zapier account, and we wouldn't post unwanted messages to the subsequent social media accounts. So you can see how chaining together a number of conditions using an AND allows you to very specifically filter out the data, the incoming data, to decide whether or not you want to continue with that particular incoming trigger for subsequent events. And this would in particular save, the consumption of 3 different tasks by using this filter. So again, filters are great for, again, optimizing the use of your Zapier tasks and also more efficiently running all your zaps, as we can stop at the stage that we wish to. Okay, here's another example of how we're using the Zapier filter to filter out tweets incoming now from our virtual consulting Twitter account, and you can see this is essentially the converse of the one we just saw coming from the Beach Bum Trading account. And in this case, we're saying, okay, if it doesn't contain Beach Bum Trading with or without a space, again, if it doesn't start with a retweet or end with a retweet, and it doesn't contain Beach Bum Trading, BBTRT, then we want to filter that tweet out, because again, that's not one that we would then want to send on to our other Twitter account. So these would only be tweets originating from our virtual consulting Twitter account, and in that case, we want to send it out to our other Twitter account. So again, this allows us to save a lot of time, energy, and money by only having to post to one Twitter account and having it distributed to multiple Twitter accounts. But we don't want to repeatedly tweet the same messages that are coming from those other accounts. So again, we use this Zapier filter action to make sure that we're not creating duplicate tweets, duplicate messages. So if we want to test that out, we can go find a test trigger from the virtual consulting Twitter account, and we can see, okay, this one does not contain Beach Bum Trading, it does not contain any of the RT retweet tags. So then we can test our filtering action. Again, without risking sending anything out, we just say retest the filter. We would expect it to pass based on our analysis. And again, this is a good example of how you can chain together any number of conditions using an and make sure that none of those conditions would be filtered out. And again, in this case, that particular test tweet would pass all of these various conditions in our filter and would continue to be sent out to those accounts. So again, this allows us to filter down the incoming data to just what we want and not duplicate data. Okay, in this example, we'll show you how we're using a Zapier filter to filter out updates to a spreadsheet row in a Google Sheet. And again, you can see live examples of how this is used in a real working example in our previous video, how to automate your workflows using Google Sheets and Zapier. You can find this in our automation playlist in our Virtual Consulting 101 YouTube channel. And again, this will show you actual live working examples of how this Zap is used and how the filter is used to prevent us sending out duplicate email messages to our partner until all the data that is needed to go in that email is ready. So again, this is triggered on a change to a row in a Google Sheet. And again, we only want to send out that email when all the data that we need is present. So in this case, we're using a particular column in that Google Sheet. And again, you'll see that in the previous video that column is being used as the triggering event for this particular Google Sheet. So you can see we're setting up the trigger. It's based on that particular column. And what we want to do is we don't want to send emails until the value actually exists in that particular cell. So here's an example where we're using the existence condition, and you can see there's no value. It's just if something exists or it doesn't exist in that column. In this case, if a value exists, and we want to continue with this and actually send the email. So we can prepare all the rest of the data, make all those changes, and then when we want this particular Zap to trigger, we put a value in the thumbnail title cell, and then it will pass this filter. So if we test this out in this case, we look at a test trigger, we look at that column. So we look at column B, which is the thumbnail title column. We can see it does have a value. So if we retest this Zapier filter, we would expect it to pass in this case. And we can see it said it would have continued, so it would have, if this Zap were executed, it would send out the email with all the data prepared. If that cell did not exist, then it would stop at that point, and again, prevent spamming out our partner with all kinds of duplicate messages that didn't have all the data required. So you can see again how this helps save time and energy, and everyone's time and energy by not creating duplicate data. So we hope that helps. Okay, here's another example of how a Zapier filter can be used to filter out the posting of a message in a channel in Discord and only select those that we want to then send out to further social media channels, in this case to Twitter and Pinterest. And you can see a video of how to create this Zap in our video previously published on how to automate your business. Zapier tutorial episode 1, created Twitter to Discord, Zap, and you can find others on a use of Discord in Zaps in our automation playlist, and or by searching on Discord in our Virtual Consulting 101 channel. So again, in this case, when a message is posted to a channel in Discord, and there could be many messages posted, we want to only select those that we then want to send out with a specific message to our Twitter and Pinterest. And again, this allows us to very customize our message that were sent out to only those postings that in this case contain content from the Discord posting that contains the words "our beach." In this case, we're posting pictures from our beach, and we want to then repost those out to our Twitter account, and also put a pin in a board in Pinterest with our beach pictures. So again, this is a way to use a Zapier filter to only select those postings that contain our beach. So in this case, we'll test, and you can see in this case the trigger is our Discord, and we have a channel called Beach Pictures, and other people can post in that Beach Pictures channel, and we only want to repost the ones that contain the string "our beach," and we can see that this particular test trigger contains that string. So if we run our Zapier Zap, our filter action, retest our filter, we can see we would expect this to pass because that posting contained the string "our beach," and therefore it would then format a message about our picture on our beach, and also format a pin in a Pinterest board appropriately for a picture from our beach. So again, another good example of how a filter can be used to only select those postings that you want to then continue with the Zap in this case. Okay, since we recently did post a beach picture in that Beach Pictures Discord channel that we just showed you how a filter is being used, we can see the results of that particular trigger. So we can see in that case it did contain the string "our beach," and so it was passed through that filter, and it was posted to our Twitter and our Pinterest. We can also see, since it was posted to the Beach Bum Trading Twitter account, it was picked up by that Zap and also retweeted out to 3 of our other Twitter accounts. Then we can see we have another Zap that is using a filter that looks for, it's using the filter to filter out messages that do not contain the substring "trade alert." In this case, that tweet did not contain the substring "trade alert," and therefore that was filtered out and cost us 0 tasks. Then we have another that posts from our Beach Bum Trading. We saw that post to several of our other social media sites, and it did not contain the retweet tags. It did come from Beach Bum Trading, and therefore it was posted out to these other social media sites. Then the virtual consulting Twitter, since it was sent from Beach Bum Trading, we can see that it was filtered out based on the filter that we showed you. That is looking for any string that contains Beach Bum Trading or retweet, and therefore again this cost us 0 tasks. And finally we see it is reposting from the Twitter. There's another Discord channel we have that reposts our Twitter postings just from the Beach Bum Trading, and it posted to that Beach Bum Trading Discord channel. So you can see again how the filter is used to only selectively execute further actions, further tasks, only post to the appropriate additional social media, etc. sites. So you can see the value of how these filters are actually used in a real example. So we hope that helps. And we can see the results of the some of the executions of those apps based on those filters, as here is the Twitter posting that came from that Discord, so we can see it appropriately posted the tweet containing our beach, which was our filter criteria, to our Beach Bum Trading Twitter account, and then we can see it also retweeted that to our other 3 accounts. So, and then we see it's attaching that retweet tag to those accounts. So we've got those 3 retweets that we saw were passing the filter because when they came from the Beach Bum Trading account, they did not contain the retweet tag. But then we also see we didn't get further retweets of that same Twitter message because they were filtered out. When they came back to the Beach Bum Trading account, they either contained one of the retweet tags that then our filter filtered them out, so it didn't create duplicate tweets in those accounts, and we didn't have some kind of circular logic that would continually retweet the same things across those 3 accounts. So again, you can see in the previous examples how you can use the Zapier filters to again avoid duplicate tweets, avoid any cyclical retweeting of the same message over and over, and that would cause issues with your Twitter accounts as well. So again, here's a great example how you can see all of those zaps using the filters are used in combination of multiple zaps to automate and more efficiently automate our social media marketing. We just posted one message in Discord and it got reposted appropriately to all of our other social media channels and filtered out again when appropriate. So we hope that all helps. Okay, again, how Zapier filters help you effectively and efficiently use your tasks in whatever Zapier plan that you have. As you can see, you have whatever plan you have typically has a limited number of tasks, and a task is the execution of any action within any Zap. Therefore, you don't want to be executing any unnecessary actions within your Zap. And you can see in the Zap History log, in this case, we saw that one Twitter virtual consulting Zap had a filter in it, and it was filtering out retweets, etc. from the virtual consulting Twitter account before deciding whether to send it on to several, in this case it looks like 3 other Twitter profiles. And you can see in this case it shows that a particular tweet, the last execution of that Zap, was filtered, and you can see it costs 0 tasks. So again, by using a filter effectively, you can minimize the number of tasks that a particular Zap uses and only execute additional actions if it meets whatever conditions, whatever criteria that you want to continue execution. And in this case, by chaining the multiple Twitter tweet message sending actions in the same Zap after the filtering action, rather than duplicating these Zaps for each of the subsequent destination accounts, we've saved a number of actions, a number of tasks, and therefore optimized the use of our Zapier plan. So again, you can see how the use of filters will help you effectively and efficiently and optimize your tasks for use in your Zapier plan, and similarly for those of your virtual consulting clients. So this knowledge and this skill is useful, again, something that you can provide to your virtual consulting clients to show them how to optimize their Zapier tasks to maximize the benefit from their Zapier plan. So we hope this all helps. Please let us know in the comments below. If you have any questions about how to use Zapier filters, you can contact us in our virtual consulting Discord, on our virtual consulting Facebook group, via social media, etc. So please let us know if you have any further questions, want to see any further examples of how to use Zapier's apps, and or any other further Zapier tutorial videos or automation videos that you would like to see. So please let us know how we can improve and help you succeed in your virtual consulting business as efficiently and effectively as possible. So we hope this all helps you see the awesome potential for not only automating workflows within your virtual consulting business, but how you could also offer this as a service to automate workflows in your virtual consulting client's business. So we hope that you like this video. Please let us know other types of integrations between applications available in Zapier for which you'd like to see additional videos in our Zapier tutorial. We hope you'll watch all of the other videos in our Zapier tutorial. And please let us know in the comments below any feedback, recommendations for improvement, other apps you would like. And we will try to accommodate those as best we are able. We would also like to cordially invite you to join us in the new Virtual Consulting Community Discord server. You should be able to find an invite in the description box below, and or in the link section on our website on the Virtual Consulting Firm homepage, which you can also find a link to in the description box below at thevcf.com. And again, we'd like to invite you to join us and discuss any topics related to virtual consulting, etc., any help that you would need in the Virtual Consulting Community Discord server. It is free to join. Again, any topics you want to discuss, any help you would like to have to succeed in your virtual consulting business, we can discuss those topics there, and hopefully our fellow virtual consultants will help each other out and mutually benefit from participating in the new Virtual Consulting Community Discord server. So we look forward to seeing you there. Again, you can find an invite in the description box below, in the About page of our YouTube channel, in the link section of our homepage, thevcf.com. And again, we look forward to joining you in the Virtual Consulting Community Discord server. Thank you. Please help us be able to continue to produce frequent quality content to help you learn how to get started and succeed in virtual consulting as a virtual consultant by supporting virtual consulting via our Patreon at patreon.com/virtualconsulting. Again, this is totally voluntary. If you would wish to provide us with your support, we would greatly appreciate it. You can see you can receive additional benefits, and we hope to be able to add additional benefits to each of these membership levels, any of which you may choose. And again, we'll be adding additional benefits to each membership level as we are able. So again, if you're able to help support us in being able to produce frequent quality content and additional benefits for our Patreons, we hope you will choose to select a membership in our Patreon at patreon.com/virtualconsulting. We thank you for your support. Good luck and have a great day. This video and the Virtual Consulting YouTube channel is powered by the Virtual Consulting Firm. Please also visit and follow us on social media via the links that you may find on our About page. In the top right, you can link to our Virtual Consulting homepage. You can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. You can also find our web hosting company, and if you scroll to the bottom, you'll find additional links to some of our other social media sites, our Facebook site, our Instagram site. Also, we hope you will join us in the Virtual Consulting Facebook group, where we can discuss any topics and you can ask any questions related to virtual consulting, and we'd be happy to help you succeed in your virtual consulting business, get started, and succeed in your virtual consulting business. And also our Pinterest, and again, the web hosting company that we use for our homepage. So again, we hope you will also choose to follow us on our social media sites, visit us, let us know what you think of all this, how can we help you. We hope this all helps, and have a great day.